What's up guys, and welcome to another Myteam video. And in today's video I'm going to be ranking the best point guards in the tier list. And yeah, there are a lot of them to rank, and let's get right into it. So to start with, we've got James Harden, who's okay. He's not amazing by any means. I think at this point in the game he's probably C tier, because he doesn't play great defense. He's not a great slasher. His movement isn't great, and yeah, I think that's the right spot for James Harden. Then next up, we've got Marcus Smart, he's still a great card, but he doesn't have great movement, and his jumper is a bit hitchy. So I'll go B tier for Marcus Smart. But he's a great defender and a great slasher, so still a very good point guard in this game. Then next up we have Zach LaVine, who I'm debating A or S. He's an amazing card. It is a bit, I don't know. It's a bit hard to choose because his defense isn't amazing. I honestly think I'm going high A. I might move him up later, but he's overall still a great card, especially offensively. He still deserves A tier on this list. Next up, we have Sidney Moncrief, who I think is also a great card, but his free ball's low and he has no movement, so I'll go A tier. Or no, I'm going B tier for Sidney Moncrief. Because he can't really move and his free ball's low. Then next up, you have Magic Johnson, who's also C tier. He only even makes this tier because of his height. Otherwise, he wouldn't even make the list, to be honest. For the rest, he sucks, so yeah. Next up, we have Penny Hardaway, who I still think is probably the best point guard in the game. So I'm going S tier for Penny Hardaway. He's amazing, a good defender. He's so tall. He's a good slasher, a good release, good movement. He's good at everything. You won't find a better point guard than him. Next up, we have Gary Payton, who I think is still a great card to his own right. I think he still deserves B tier. He's like the Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Smart level card. Not that much better, but he's their level. Especially defensively, he's the best card on this list, to be honest. Okay, next up we've got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and yeah, I think he's probably B or A tier because his lack of defense. I'm not sure, to be honest. Probably go low A. Yeah, his defense isn't great. He's not a great slasher. He just has a better release and he has pretty good dribble moves. For the rest, he's pretty useless. Next up, we've got Darius Garland, who really stinks. He's probably D tier because he still has good dribble. He has a good dribble style and a good release, but he gives you nothing else on the court. And yeah, he really is a bad point guard in this game. Next up, we have Cade Cunningham. I think that Cade has got to go S, to be honest. Yeah, Cade's S tier for sure. He's decent defensively. He's 6'7", I'm pretty sure. He's a good slasher, amazing release. You can't get that much better. I still think that Penny's better than Cade, but Cade is an amazing card in this game overall. Rajon Rondo is probably C or D. I'll go D for Rajon Rondo. His release isn't amazing. He can't dunk. He's just a really good defender, but he's only 6 foot tall, so he'll even be limited in that. Next up, we have got Jalen Brunson. Well, he's not a good I'm honestly going D tier of Jalen Brunson. He's not a good defender. He's undersized. His release isn't that amazing, and he doesn't have great SIG, so he really sucks in this game. Next up, we have Gilbert Arenas. He's probably C tier. He's a pretty good defender, better release. Just not great SIGs and pretty undersized. Yeah, and not a great slash rider. If you got him, he can play. If you got him from the win streak last Sunday, he can play, but not for long. Eventually, he'll go all the way down in this list. But yeah, he's okay. Next up, we've got Derrick Rose, who gets a lot of hate. He's probably going to be high B for me. You could argue low A, but yeah, his release is pretty easy to time. He's an amazing slasher, decent defender. He's not that on the size. Yeah, I think B tier or A is the right spot for Derrick Rose. Next up, we've got Jerry West, who's high A tier, to be honest. His release isn't amazing, but he's probably low A tier. His release isn't amazing. He is a good slasher. He's a good defense. Is he B or? It's probably in the same tier as Derrick Rose. He's a decent slasher. His release is pretty okay. He's an amazing defender, but he doesn't give you that much on the court, offensively. Next up, we've got Oscar Robertson, who's for sure S tier. Probably the third best point guard in the game today. He's amazing defensively, good release, good slasher. He does everything. He isn't that tall, but he's tall enough, believe me. Next up, we've got LaMelo Ball. And to be honest, on next gen, he's probably D tier, to be honest, bro. Or not D, probably C, in the same tier as Magic Johnson. But if you're talking all gen, then he's for sure up there at S. But on next gen, he's just not that good. His release hitches. He doesn't have great movement. He's a liability defensively. So next gen, he's C tier. On all gen, he's the best point guard in the game. Keep that in mind. Our first F tier for today, Bronny James. You could maybe argue D tier because he's good defensively, but he still gets hammered in the paint, and his release isn't amazing either. And he's only 6'1". Yeah, 6'1". Next up, we've got Allen Iverson, who I honestly really, really like in this game. For me, he's personally going to go A tier. I tried him out earlier today. He's got a butter release. He's undersized, but he can do everything on the court. He can dunk really well. He defends amazingly. He's got a butter release. He does everything. I don't know why you would hate on this card. He's probably low A tier on my list. Next up, we've got Kyrie Irving, our second F tier point guard. Can't dunk, can't defend. That's all you need to put a card in F tier. He sucks. Don't run this card. Next up, we've got Dyson Daniels, who I think is a bit better than Marcus Smart, to be honest. But he's not really that much better. Let me just adjust this a bit. There you go. Okay, he's not personally that much better than Marcus Smart. He's just a tad bit better because of his size. But for the rest, they're almost identical cards. Next up, we've got Pink Diamond Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's probably also A tier. No, it's probably low S, to be honest. He's better than this card. I might put in B tier, to be honest, and then this one in A. So this one just is horrible defensively. This one at least can defend and steal the ball. So yeah, he's just like the other card. Great release, pretty good movement, but this one defends much better than this one, and this one also has better just slashing and overall ratings. Next up, we've got Jason Kidd, who's also not a bad card by any means. I'll probably go low B, to be honest. He's not really undersized, but he's not that tall. He's not a great slasher by any means. He can hardly dunk the ball. His release is okay, but Allen Iverson is just so much better than Jason Kidd, to be honest. Okay, next up, we've got Chris Paul, who at this point is sadly D tier. He used to be one of my favorite cards, but now he's just outdated. Can hardly dunk the ball. 60 driving dunk. His release isn't that good. Yeah, he's D tier at this point. Next up, we've got John Morant, who's probably high B. Yeah, probably high B, to be honest. He isn't a great defender, but he's got a good release. He's an amazing slasher, and yeah. He gives you a lot. He's undersized and not a great defender, but he does everything else. Tyrese Halliburton at this point is going to go F tier for me. His release is so hitchy. He has literally no fade. He has no sigs. He can hardly defend. He does nothing on the court. I honestly just might make a tier below F for this card. It's just horrible. This card is so bad. I swear. Wait 1 second, guys. Usable. Unusable. Okay. Yeah. Or I'll just say trash. That's probably better. There you go. I'll just move Kyrie, Bronny to trash. I'll move. There you go. This makes the list more balanced, to be honest. That's better. Okay. I also think I'm probably gonna make another tier above this. I'll make a god tier. Yeah, there you go. Move Penny and move Oscar. Then I'll probably move Zach LaVine and Shea up to here. There you go. That looks much better. Just move a couple cards up. No, Ja's staying here. Yeah. Yeah. This looks much better, to be honest. Personally. Okay. Let's look who we have next. Next up, Donovan Mitchell. He's really good in the game. I'm not sure he's S tier, but he defends really well. He's just not that tall, but he defends really well. He's a good slasher. His release isn't amazing either. Could argue B tier, but I'll put him up in A. Next up, we've got Derek White, who can't dunk, but he's an amazing defender. He's got a good release. Not A, B tier. Amazing defender, good release, can't dunk, but yeah, you know what he gives you on the floor. Michael Carter-Williams is C tier, probably low C. He's not a good defender. He can hardly dunk. His release is good and his movement's pretty good. So that's why he does make C tier on my list. Damian Lillard is... Oh my god, what is this? Damian Lillard is horrible in this game. Just don't use him. He's so bad. Why does this keep happening? 1 sec. Sorry guys. So yeah, Damian Lillard sucks in this game and just don't use the card. He won't do anything. Should he go? No, he's trash. He's so bad. I don't know why he's going for 120k. He should be like 10k MT, to be honest. Next, oh my goodness, why does this keep happening? Okay, next up we have got Russell Westbrook, who's definitely not trash. It's probably A or S. I'll go high A for Russ, just because he's undersized at the point guard position and his release isn't that good. He's an amazing slash. I'll probably go low A. Yeah, that looks good. There you go. Now we've got Pro Pass D Wade, who... Is he God tier? Probably is. Yeah, he probably is God tier in my list. Overall. Yeah. I'll put him up in God tier. He's amazing. And he does everything you want overall. So, yeah. You won't get any better than D Wade in this game. Next up, we have got... Victor Oladipo. I think he, at this point, is a D tier card. He is a bit better than Chris Paul, but he's still a low D tier. I might put them in the same tier. They're roughly the same cards. Yeah, that looks good. But they kind of are unusable. I'll just put them both in F. Next up, Lonzo Ball. Lonzo, I think, is probably high B tier in this game. He's really tall. He can defend. He can dunk pretty well. His release is butter. He has pretty good movement. And yeah, he can still play. You could argue A if you want, but I just think that Russell Westbrook, Donovan Mitchell, and Sidney Moncrief are just a bit better. Next up, we've got normal D Wade, who is really disappointing. A or B? A or B, I don't know. Probably A. Put him mid A. He's not amazing at all. he's a good slasher, good defender, but that's it. He won't shoot at all. Just don't try and get a contested shot off of him. It will never go in. So easy to contest. That jump shot sucks. And he has no good six either. Next up, John Wall, who is probably, he's an S tier card. He's an amazing dunker slasher. He has a good release. He's not too undersized. He's a good defender. He does everything you want from a point guard. Next up, we've got Larry Hughes, who is probably C tier. He's a good defender, decent release, but doesn't give you much else on the court. Next up, we've got Kyrie Irving, who is also low B, in with Jason Kidd. He can dunk, at least. His defense is decent. He's like Jason Kidd, basically. Just a better release and better movement. But Jason Kidd plays better D, so pick your poison. Steph Curry sucks in this game. I don't know why he's going for 200 KMT, but he does. You should never use him. I would cook you so hard with my Lonzo Ball against this Curry card. Every single card in this list would destroy Curry. He's the worst of the worst. Next up, we've got Tyler Hero, who honestly isn't that good in this game. I don't know why Tadibo keeps gassing this card. He can hardly play defense. He can hardly dunk. He just has a good release and the Shea moving crossover. There's nothing else. Next up, we've got De'Aaron Fox, who's also D tier. He's undersized. He can hardly dunk. He's not a good defender. Not a good card at all. Then we've got Russell Westbrook, another D tier. Is he D? He's probably F. No, he's D. He can slash really well. He defends, but he doesn't shoot at all. Just like his Opal. But at least his Opal plays immaculate D and dunks the ball way better. And he has a higher 3-point rating too. Next up, we've got Luka Doncic, who you only use for his size. He does nothing else. He sucks in this game. Probably does go D tier. Yeah, he probably does. Magic Johnson is honestly a bit better. Just to be honest. Next up, we've got D Wade, who's also a D tier card. He has no sigs. He has no jump shot. He doesn't defend as well as not even as close as well as his Dark Matter, and he's not as good of a slasher as his Dark Matter. And yeah, he just sucks. Next up, we have Goran Dragic. He's probably a C tier, to be honest. He's a bit undersized. He's low C, like the same level as Michael Porgy. Oh my god, I forgot his name. But he's in the same level as him because he's not a great defender. He's a bit undersized. He's probably C. It's not amazing. He's okay if you want to use a cheap point guard. Next up, we've got D-Book, who is S tier, low S tier. He hardly makes an S. Let me just move this down. There you go. Yeah, he's low S. He hardly makes it into S tier, but he's still a really good card. And yeah, his defense is just not that good, but he's really tall. He's a good slasher, great release, great movement. Overall, really good card. Next up, and our last and least card, probably F for John. No, it's probably D tier. He's high D, high F. Sorry. F for John Morant. He can dunk, but that's it. His release isn't that amazing. He can hardly defend. He's 6'3". He's not as close to as good as Sopel, and yeah, don't pick up this card for 150k. You're wasting your MT. If you want a point guard for that much, just get Drew Holiday. Overall, I think this list looks pretty good. There are a lot of really good cards also. I would say that they're more bad point guards than good. Overall, this position's pretty stacked. And yeah, see you in the next Myteam video. Peace.